Ah.
Oh, hello. We're just taking a look here at...
Oh, look at that. It's a camera.
Yeah, it's like the greatest album packaging of all time. Hey, what is this? It's Kiss Alive 2. Let's talk about this for the next hour, Peter.
Let's do that. Let's just talk about this picture
We could definitely do that.
for the next hour.
Okay, so this picture was taken August 19th, 1977 in San Diego, California. Same with that poster back there, if you see that.
Outtake.
Yeah.
We think it's a little bit earlier.
We think that's when they're rising up, and the drum rise is going up too, because if you look on this photo, you can't even see the Kiss logo. So obviously, more bombs went off.
And I got that poster, new old stock, rolled up, probably 12 years ago for like 10, 50, something like that. So good luck with that these days.
Anyway, we're here tonight, actually. You like the cozy atmosphere we built around us? Kind of romantic, actually, isn't it? We're here to talk about this album. And this album only, Kiss Alive 2, released in October 1977. At the height of hysteria, wouldn't you say?
It's a lot of people's album that was like the big one that probably sucked them in, you know. When it was the late 70s, I mean, it just, the cover, if you're a teenager in a record store or whatever, you're looking at this, I mean, this album just pops. I always looked at it and I always thought, man, they really made it. What is that, a third one? Jeez. They made this pop, you know. I've always loved the album cover. Oh my God, number 4. All the way to the back.
Oh, yeah, the back. Yeah.
You know. Mm-hmm. Who wouldn't see this and go, what the heck is going on in these grooves, you know, so.
It definitely catches your attention.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So this is a big one. Even when I posted that we were going to do this episode, people today on Facebook were like, yep, that's the one that changed my life, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So you have a personal history with this. You want to talk about that? Probably one of the first albums you got into?
I got this at the Starlight Theater swap meet.
We were just talking about that
in
place.
Tacoma.
No, wait. The Starlight? Okay,
I got a couple at the Midway up there,
Midway.
but these are swap meets in where we live here around Tacoma area and surrounding areas. But I got a beat up version of Alive 2. I'm not even sure what it had in it, but I think I got it for $1 or $2. That was the golden age where like you could still find like Kiss belt buckles and albums and shirts and stuff like that at the swap meets and Good Value Villages and stuff like that back then, and it would just be priced like anyone else's records. You know. Now if you're gonna get
ever since the damn reunion happened, stuff went up in price.
Yeah, like if you're gonna get say this is not gonna be the same price as Hotel California or whatever was going on this year, you know, because the Kiss stuff has just become so collectible.
And Hotel California sold 30 million copies.
And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, I guess. But yeah, so it was a really big one for me. And in fact, in '84, I actually had an 8-track player, and I had it on. I still have copies of the 8-tracks.
Tell the kids what 8-tracks are.
Yeah. There are things that look cool these days because most of the felts are worn out in there, and you know. I do need to get another machine, but I remember playing it and just thinking, man, that snare drum is just cracking. You know, as a drummer, I started playing drums that year, and actually, I didn't even have a full kit yet. But Peter Criss and Kiss, Alive 2, I mean, this stuff was just getting me pumped to play the kit. And I remember that snare sound. You can kind of tell it's the Love Gun tour. He's still got his snare up a little higher like he does in the Love Gun album, and it just pops on Alive 2.
Yeah, Peter and I actually were standing in his kitchen eating some pizza earlier talking about Peter's drum sound on this album. We think it's probably Peter's pinnacle. Like, this is where it reached it, the crescendo, and yeah, he's just absolutely, like he said on Love Gun as well. And he took that drum sound into the tour as well.
It's a great sound.
I'm sure Eddie Kramer was responsible for the sound, being an engineer, foremost, even more than a producer.
But like, you know, you got your snare, you got a little piece of tape on it. These days, you know, like you're playing something that's kind of a retro dead snare. You got a lot of us will take our wallet, set it on there for the session or whatever, but a little tweak on a couple of the tension rods makes a huge difference, you know, a huge difference in what that Love Gun record sounds like and this record sounds like. And you hear Peter on these tracks too, and at the ending of some of the songs where he's getting really fast in the snare with those single notes, you know, stuff like that, you know, he was really
like on Love Gun,
really getting fine-tuned, you know.
Yeah, this was Peter at the height of his powers right here, and probably Ace too, for that matter. For instance, the solo in Shock Me, that's kind of the prototype of every solo he's played since then.
Yep.
He still plays that solo to this day. You all know it, the smoking guitar, all that. But yeah, there's Ace is, man, there's something about these live albums. Ace is just on fire.
Alive 1 is very, it's a little more organic. It's not cut up as much. It's just a perfect album. And Alive 2, although maybe imperfect as I look back at it, still, the way they kind of like, we were just hearing a thing like at the end of, what was that? The end of Tomorrow and Tonight? Where like on the tour there was a whole guitar solo at the end of it. Was it Tomorrow and Tonight or
Not
what was it?
Tonight. Oh, I Want You.
I Want You. And there's then Paul comes in finally with his rap. But the way they made these songs so concise, and a really good example is the God of Thunder drum solo that's like cut up into almost nothing.
Even the bass solo at the beginning is kind of,
But they needed to make it really concise once they figured out they're going to have 3 sides and a studio side, because they need to fit it all nicely on 3 sides. And you know, when I was rocking this album for the first time, this album was so exciting. How to compare it to Alive is maybe a little more organic, but Alive 2 is just pumped. It's just hyped. You know?
Yeah.
And the crowd is even louder, and it's just insane.
It is.
It's so exciting, you know.
It's literally a rock and roll party.
Yeah.
It
Rock and
literally
roll
is.
party in Tokyo. So what I have here is the Victor version, and I'm trying to remember what is in my version of the Victor copy here. It's got the inner sleeves here, although they're not glossy like the normal ones. All the ones that I find of the original ones, they're glossy and they're split at the bottom.
That's just paper?
And it's just non-glossy paper, but it's got the same prints on those sides, and it's Japanese, so of course they have a nice vinyl, you know, inner sleeve inside of the paper sleeve, and you can't really see what it looks like here, but of course it's a beautiful pressing. As you heard that nice whoosh as you went back.
And if it's Japanese, it probably sounds superior to these others.
Such a great pressing, yeah. So this is my Victor Japanese pressing, and do I have an extra thing in here? Yeah, so anyway, that's this one, and then this one here is a 501, and it couldn't be more crisp. Normally I have these in their bags, but we'd be getting nothing but glare if we had them in the bag still.
When you say 501,
501 is
came out
a
in the
series.
80s?
Yeah, 84, 85, they reprinted them. You can tell because it's got a barcode here, and the originals didn't. Also, dead giveaway, obviously, polygramms. This is polygram down here. And the bummer about it is you didn't get the booklet. You definitely didn't get tattoos. You definitely didn't get order
That
forms.
depresses me.
And the inner sleeves
Look at that.
is this. But if you pull the vinyl out, I think it rivals the beauty of the Japanese original versions. You know, really, these are really nice copies. I also have the Peter. I remember getting the Dress to Kill 501 series for Christmas in '85, and it was a really nice pressing. So I've always loved the 501 series, although you didn't get the cool stuff. And then I have the Destroyed Kids version, which is coming apart and got glitter on it and shit, like the 10-year-old's bedroom copy. And it says, it's printed twice, it says Kiss and then Kiss Alive 2, kind of interesting print. And yeah, it's a match. Some of these Alive 2s, it was so popular and the records were just everywhere sometimes I'll get one and it's got a slightly different record one than from record 2, you know, from a different plant.
And we noticed the colors on the front aren't as vibrant.
Yeah,
darker.
it changed slightly, you know. The 501, very, very contrasty, almost orange, you know, in comparison to this one. But here is a first print American one. And when you open it, of course, you got a...
Ooh, this book. This book right here.
Yep. This is, I mean, I had an extra copy of this probably from the swap meter somewhere, luckily, that I could have torn apart and tacked up on my wall.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But what a cool book, The Evolution of Kiss. Oh, yeah. Even when I got into it in '84, I was still spent hours looking at this, you know, studying the costumes and all that. But amazing pics.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Always love that shot.
That's a way cool picture. Yep. So they go through the years with each member down the side beside his large picture. And then back here on this page, of course, they've got the big group shot in the center. And then on the back, we got the info, The Evolution of Kiss, which is a pretty bare bones.
It's pretty brief.
What had gone down at that point.
Yeah.
But this was so cool to get.
And Peter, what's this?
Well, I'll show you what that is.
Yeah. And
I have the real versions right there.
oh, look at that.
The Alive 2, I got real tattoos of tattoos.
Yeah. So, and now live on camera, Peter's going to let me put some of these on my arm.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't
I
actually
want to
have
put the rose right here.
You need to.
Yeah, I do. Big time.
Those are from the CD reissue. The 97 CD reissue, because I actually don't have the tattoos or the order for my Live 2, so I'm looking for them. But there's so much stuff to always buy. I'm always buying like even rarer shit, but the original booklet, boom, it's all the same stuff. So these were really nice when these came out, and I like the simplicity of the graphics of the original disc too. The original disc came in a 2-for case.
Yeah, one of these big thick ones.
Yeah, I love those too. And I have to tell you, for most of the Kiss albums, the 97 remasters, they don't sound extremely different. Some of them, Destroyer, Master, a little bit different, but it's the Kiss albums were already pretty loud for the masters they were using by the time the late 80s were rolling around. So,
and what we got here?
some cassettes, Jason.
We have it in all formats.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. And these are just standard American ones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
And they always did that. They got one, the around one is black, around one is white, but they're a set. Same thing with the 8 tracks.
Yeah. Right on.
What else we have? I have some cool ads and stuff. Some are framed, but this one's not, so I can show it. Alive 2 is coming. I mean, they were building it up.
They were hyping this one.
Yeah. And they were just so busy at this point. I actually have this little, the dates I jotted down for like Love Gun, Alive 2, originals, solos, and it's just like every 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Kiss was, at their height of popularity, the biggest band in the world. This is the year they won the Gallup poll for most popular band. Yeah, they were huge. This was on the Love Gun tour. They recorded this, and then, of course, they would put out a movie the following year and solo albums. And what do you got there? 16 magazine.
Yeah, this is 16, and what is this? This is March 79, so they're still riding high on the Alive 2 fame. Of course, solo albums are out, but I wanted to show this because Kiss lovoscopes.
Whoa.
You get to know what Paul
does
and
Gene look for in a woman?
What Paul and Gene
Besides
and I just,
open legs.
as a kid, I wanted to know what they wanted in a woman. I mean, I really wanted to. But yeah, very cool.
As always, 16 magazine got to the heart of the matter. Oh, I like this, see, where you could draw the band and send it in. I think I did that a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably did that with Village People.
For those that don't know, 16 magazine was really like a teen magazine, like Bay City Rollers, Rex Smith, you know, Leif Garrett, people like that, and Kiss just fit into the mix at the time.
So Circus December 77. And his makeup looking very, very much like the little photo album shoot. And like what they used for the solo album shoot, what they used for double platinum and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
His inner pics.
Yeah.
You know, it's his bottom thing is lower. They're rounded on the tips. You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, way cool stuff. Another fun thing I have here is the Alive 2 songbook, which if you don't have this, it's really worth getting because there's some cool picks. Plus you can learn to play those cool songs on the
There's no
side chord.
tablatures. Oh, well, there is actually.
Oh, there's
No.
chords.
Okay.
It just shows
All
chords. I mean, it shows chord
Yeah.
pictures.
Are
So
lyrics in there?
That's pretty good. But yep,
Little
but this book
lyrics?
is cool because it's got the lyrics on the left side, and then it shows you the music over here. But what's really cool about it is
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool photo. Right
cool
there.
shot. Yeah,
My favorite Kiss shots are full stage shots.
Yeah.
You can see it all.
the songbooks are so cool. And here's another outtake from the Alive 2
Oh yeah.
Album Center picture. But here we go. Now, Jason, how about Ladies' Room?
I can't read that.
You can't read that in here?
You got your readers on. so
Yeah,
you
I don't
gotta-
really have my. Some guys make love in the moonlight. Gene Simmons makes love to fluorescent glare because Gene's favorite meeting place is the ladies' room. He says that the way it happens in rock, that's the way it happens in rock and roll. When a band plays a club, a fan approaches a star. Fan looks good. Star can't wait to investigate what fan has in mind. That's what it is. So Star greets fan in the locked sanctuary
Whoa.
of the ladies' room, the only private place around, and they have a meeting of the minds.
Who wrote this?
I'm not sure who wrote these. Maybe it does.
Wait,
say
does it say right
in the preface?
No. What's the name up there?
Ridgely. It says Reggie Tamarkin. So you know,
I don't even want to know what it says about Rocket Ride.
important facts. Yeah, Rocket Ride. I think it just has a picture of a dildo. I'm not sure.
Wow.
But yeah, way cool. These songbooks are cool. I have the originals.
Is that the original songbook? Like,
No, the original songbook is back here. But this is the original first 70s press of the Alive 2 songbook.
nice.
Is that what you meant? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have the originals also, and I have Easy. I think it's called Easy Guitar for Kiss. That's another cool one. Cool pictures in the circle. So yeah, there's some fun stuff. What else do we have here? Anything else we want to show before we talk about?
Oh, right there. So we haven't talked too much about it yet, but side 4 of this record isn't live. It's a studio side, and we can't wait to talk about that. We're gonna get to it. But Rocket Ride was actually a single, and
Ace's first A-side.
not just a single, but a successful single. Made it to number 39 on the charts.
Pretty successful. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, Shout It Out Loud was the first single on the album. Made it to like 46. Rocket Ride, 39.
Well, Shout It Out Loud had already been used on singles. I mean, didn't it come out as a single for Destroyer? And a B-side?
Yeah,
With
but they
every
were trying to
single?
recreate that Alive magic with
So-
a party type live song.
Yeah. That could have something to do with it, though. I mean, it had been released before. But,
True.
Yeah.
But still in
Ace's
rock and
first
roll, man.
A-side as a vocalist, and his second song singing on the Kiss record.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're going to get to that. We can't wait to go through these songs.
And one more fun thing. Let's see if anyone knows about this. I got this a couple years ago. It is supposedly new old stock. It's the sticker from the record player. And it definitely, I don't think it does. It definitely doesn't seem to smell old to me. Whoever printed this would definitely have to have an old school setup because it looks like the real deal.
I think it's authentic.
You think it is, huh?
I do.
It's extremely clean. So I don't know if anyone else bought this. There was a guy that had a bunch of them on eBay for a while. I think I paid 10 or 50 bucks. So pretty cool. But 78, but the Alive 2...
It's strange that he had a bunch of them.
yeah,
It's
that's
like,
true.
I think he's making them in his basement.
Oh, these are real, but, quantities are limited to 20,000, though.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't remember how many you had, but those are the pics from the back of Alive 2.
Yeah. We also, takes a geeky Kiss fan to notice this. We noticed the picture of Peter is reversed from, see if you look at both of them. See, he's facing different ways, but it's the same photo. So one of these has it wrong.
So they went back to the original photos and just didn't flip this one.
Yeah.
Because here we're thinking that they had Ace and Peter looking inward and these guys are looking inward, which creates just a, a symmetry with the whole thing.
Absolutely.
But I guess that earring probably tells the tale right there.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, cool stuff.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the music, Peter.
So what do you think? Do you even like Kiss? I can't remember what you really feel about them.
On the fence. But we're going to flip this over, and on side one, there's 4 sides. Obviously, it's a double record. Detroit Rock City opens the album up, but ironically,
Didn't open the tour up.
didn't open the tour. In fact, they did it during the encore. So yeah, they're
Well, it was the Love Gun tour. So they were opening up with I Stole Your Love, right?
absolutely.
So it made sense at the time. But
Okay. Also, really quick, I want to take notice of this. There are 3 live sides, and there are 5 songs each from their 3 previous solo albums, or not solo albums, live albums, or not even live albums.
for the studio album, is it that symmetrical?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, there's 5 songs from Destroyer, 5 from Rock and Roll Over, 5 from Love Gun. And of course, there's no early Kiss songs on here because those were covered on a live 1. So a live 2 is the continuation. Obviously they were going for 3 studio albums, live album. 3 studio albums, live album. Didn't exactly pan out that way because there would have been a Elder live album. But
Yeah.
so 5 songs from each solo album and then 5 brand new songs at the end. But Detroit Rock City opens it up. Great version. I love the feedback during the verses, the guitar feedback. And it's just a great album opener. But before it even gets to the song, that intro, probably one of the most classic intros on record anywhere. So that is a roadie. His name was Eddie Belandis? Yeah, Eddie Belandis. But, Peter, tell them why he's not the one yelling Kiss.
Because that's Gene, right?
It's Gene, but why is Gene doing that?
Because it was better.
It was better, and apparently, from what I've read, it sounded too much like Eddie was saying piss.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I remember reading that. Yeah.
But Gene's the perfect person to yell Kiss.
I didn't
like
even
that.
know it was Kiss. And I thought that when I was a kid listening to this, I was like, that is the most powerful introduction. Of course, they ramped it up from the first Alive.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're just screaming, and of course, it's world instead of in the land. Husband in the land, it's in the world. And then when that guy yells "Kiss," I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
And now I find out I didn't even know that until this year that's Gene. So
It's actually Gene.
that's cool.
Yeah, so great version of that song. I would call it one of the best live versions I've heard of it. That and Australia in 1980. That's the best Detroit Rock City, if you ask me.
You love that one.
Yeah. So, King of the Nighttime World. Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World. I think another album opens up with those 2 songs. But great okay, so here's the thing about King of the Nighttime World. They didn't even play it on the tour. So, it's obviously a sound check. They did record a couple sound checks when they played the Forum in LA. So, it's probably from that. But I love how in the beginning you hear the gong. Peter hits the gong, and then Ace's feedback, and goes into just an amazing version.
It's amazing. I mean, after this album, with the energy and just pulling all the stops, it's like, oh, they didn't say Kiss right. Let's just have Gene scream it. Like they're doing anything they can do to just. How could they really top this as a live album? Maybe that's why a live album didn't come out for years.
That's probably it. Peter just nailed it.
Well, part of it anyway.
Yeah. This album is over the top.
Yeah, it really is. It's so fun.
Yeah. And so Ladies' Room is next. A little intro by Paul. First time we hear him speak. Great version. Heavier than the one on Rock and Roll Over. Faster. It's just a great version. I seem to remember a certain tribute band covering that song.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
For a long time, I've always really preferred all of these versions to the studio versions.
I pretty much do. Okay, there is one exception coming up we'll talk about.
I mean, Detroit Rock City and King of the Nighttime World on Destroyer, they're so artful on the album, Definitely like one version for one thing, and this version for just the all-out rock. I Stole Your Love is also really good on Love Gun. I love putting on, Love Gun on I Stole Your Love and cranking that thing up. It sounds great. But for so many years, this God of Thunder was definitely my preferred God of Thunder,
Yeah.
Especially when Gene comes back and his voice gives out,
Yeah, this God of Thunder has no big piano chords or kids talking during it.
Yeah.
It rocks. It totally rocks.
Yeah.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Making Love is 4th on side 1. That version of Making Love is one of my favorite live versions of any Kiss song ever. I love it. Those Paul's guitar in the beginning could not sound any better.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. And Paul's vocals, oh my God.
He's in his prime, you know.
Even the way he's singing that song, you would never have heard him sing that way in that style on the first live album. He was way more restrained. He's in his prime, He's at this point 26, I believe. Yeah, he's vocally in his prime, and I hate to use this term, but he sings the shit out of that song. Yeah, and the guitar solo is amazing. Just absolutely incredible version of Making Love. So what's next, Peter?
So Love Gun.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a science teacher at my high school, and I had a Kiss shirt on the first day of school. God, what shirt was that? I can't remember which shirt it was, but it was a Kiss shirt. And he goes, "Oh, you a Kiss fan?" And he started singing Love Gun for the whole class. He goes, do 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 do. He goes, "That sounds badass, man." It was such a cool teacher, Mr. Zittle.
What school is this?
That was Wilson, now it's Silas,
Okay.
in northern Tacoma. But I always remember that, and that version of Love Gun, whoa, that's just tour de force. Just,
Yeah, Peter went to
can't
the
talk.
same high school as Ted Bundy.
And Jeff
Fun fact.
And Jeff Tate.
And Jeff Tate.
And some other people, too.
All right.
Probably Perry Como. Or not Perry Como, but Bing Crosby.
Yeah, I was going to say the
yeah, I don't know what high school he went to, but,
Okay, cool. So, yeah, did you get good grades because of that?
Not really. I mean, he was such a cool teacher. He had the giant Dark Side of the Moon poster in the room because it's a prism, it's a science class, and you figured you'd get away with that.
Connection.
Yeah,
I get it.
But he was a rocker, man. He was a rocker.
Right on. Glad you guys bonded over that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So yeah, Love Gun, the version on here is, in my opinion, far superior. Nothing wrong with the one on the album, but just it's the drums. It's Peter.
I think I got a live tube before probably half of the studio albums that had come out at this point, because I remember getting Love Gun. Did I say live too? Yeah, I got this album first before most of the studio albums from the 70s, because when I did get Love Gun, the female background singers, you know what I mean? How they're going for that little bit of humble pie thing with the girls, female singers and stuff like that. I was like, what is this? This isn't like a live two,
Yeah.
that goes into the instrumentation of why I really preferred these stripped down, straight up rockin' versions,
Yeah.
Calling Dr. Love, Christine 16, all those are like that for me.
Yeah. So this version of Love Gun, just top notch. Again, Paul's singing the hell out of it. Just side 1 in general there's 4 Paul songs, and he's the MVP of side 1. Although Peter gets honorable mention for that drum sound. And the actual drumming itself. It's not just the sound of the drums.
Yeah.
So what starts off side 2, Peter?
You're on side 2, Calling Dr. Love.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Paul introductions of a song. I like that. Paul's raps are kept to a minimum, I would say, on this. Concise.
It's concise, because if we're going to make it 3 sides, we got to fit it.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess the live had 18 songs? This has 15 live songs.
Yeah.
So much shorter. Didn't have the big, long 100,000
But
years.
it just has that pace, though. It's paced, and it just keeps moving. It doesn't really slow down much until death.
Not at all. Calling Dr. Love, great version. I don't know if I like it better than the studio version. I don't know. I love the studio version a lot. So, but Christine 16 follows. Much more rockin' version. No piano, obviously. This would be one where I prefer actually the studio version.
Yeah.
It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. But once you get to Christine 16, I don't know about you, but I'm already kind of looking ahead to what the next song is. Okay, next is Shock Me.
My favorite.
And it's when they turn the microphone over to Ace Frehley. And that guitar solo, I'm going to go so far, tell me if you agree with me. Ace singing and playing on Shock Me, and especially that guitar solo, probably inspired more guitar players than any one song in the 70s. Seriously, that
Kiss in general, of course, at this point.
But that actual version of this of Shock Me on this album,
Yeah,
is mind blowing. It's amazing. And what he does with that Les Paul, man, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like Ace has tried to live up to that, I think, ever since. And at times he's did a pretty damn good job with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shock Me, amazing. So what do we got next?
I love Hard Luck Woman. Next is Hard Luck Woman, and Hard Luck Woman wasn't really on the tour, I don't think. Was it one of the ones?
It was not on the Love Gun tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's from a sound check.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an electric version, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then the next tune, Tomorrow and Tonight, kind of like their second try at a kind of rock and roll all night.
Without a doubt.
But I've always loved it. I've always loved it.
Yeah,
What a
it's great.
fun, energetic
Yeah.
tune, you know.
I don't know why it didn't do anything as far as the single's concerned from Love Gun. It had that vibe, you know. It's what people wanted, right?
I would think it'd be a pretty good radio hit, but you know, timing is everything. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, but they obviously thought so highly of it, they wanted to put it on this album because they didn't play it on the tour.
Yeah.
So that's another sound check song, definitely. Or maybe even in the studio because they obviously went to the studio to record side 5. So anyway, up next would be the song that actually opened the tour. But it only opened side 3 on the album, I Stole Your Love.
Yeah.
Which, from what I understand, was also from a sound check. They probably really wanted to get it right, and they did. Excellent version. I don't know. I kind of would have liked to have seen it at the start of the album, but that's fine. That's fine. I love side 3 on this album.
See, I never thought about it because I think I had this before I had Destroyer.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
So it was just a natural thing. I think
Yeah.
I had Rock and Roll Over because that was always really easy to come by. Rock and Roll Over, and then I think I had the first one, Rock and Roll Over, and Alive 2. I think those are my first makeup albums that I got. So
Good ones to have. All right. So Beth is next, and from what I gathered, it's from actually Japan. The majority of this album was recorded at the Forum in LA, August 77. But Beth came from
Rock and Roll Party.
Rock and Roll Party in Tokyo. You know, ironically, Kiss is playing Tokyo tomorrow. Their big farewell show.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So the version of Beth apparently comes from Tokyo. And what can you say? It's Peter singing to a tape. It kind of sounds kind of extra raspy, if you will.
I always liked it, you know. I think it's placed really well.
It is, but
And then they pick it right back up with some demon shit directly afterwards.
I always
It's awesome.
liked at the end of Beth when he sang it live, when he would say like, "I love you," or you know, "Thank you, Houston," or whatever. But he says nothing here. He probably did. They just cut it out. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It was kind of expected. It has to be on here. So, oh, what's next? Album highlight number 5 or 6 for me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of highlights.
Yeah.
God of Thunder.
Yep. God of Thunder.
How's that start out?
I mean, it's just killer.
Ominous.
I just love it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, obviously, when we say this album's concise, this song, heavily edited. Bass hole in the beginning is really just Gene hitting a couple notes. The song itself is much heavier and faster, more rocking. And the drum solo, like, if you're listening in the background, this is the actual drum solo.
And it's playing right now. Yeah.
Perfect timing. But what maybe it's a minute long on here?
I mean, it's cut, but
Still
whatever.
good.
Like,
Still good.
it's that pace. The album is,
Yeah.
they're pacing the album. I'm sure Peter was pissed off about it. Because they cut
Probably.
it down to pretty much nothing. And the cuts are apparent.
Yes.
But, you know.
Yeah, but it makes for a really good version of the song. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite live versions of it. So, So up next, Peter and I did some research, as we do before shows. It was said that the version of I Want You is from Tokyo, April 2nd, 77, that evening show. So, of course, pulled it up on YouTube, played it, and it is. It's pretty much the same. So, I Want You is indeed from Tokyo. So, don't believe it when you read inside the liner notes. Recorded the LA Forum, Los Angeles. No, no, that's from Tokyo.
Yeah.
Apparently they were gonna record a whole album in Tokyo, but Casablanca said no. Didn't deem it worthy of.
Yeah, it wasn't quite good
release.
enough.
Okay. So up next, after I Want You, is Kiss's blatant attempt at another rock and roll night hit single.
Yeah.
Because Shout It Out Loud was indeed the first single on the album.
Yeah.
And it only made it to like number 46. But it is a great version.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with it. It is a good party song.
So it's a really concise Kiss show. It comes to a quick, but a nice, rock and roll chant ending there on side 3.
Yep.
And then we get into side 4, which is kind of what I'm excited about to do
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah, here we are like 40 minutes into it, and now is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, side 4 is badass.
Side 4 of Alive is, I'm gonna, and it pains me to say this because Ace is on one song,
Yeah,
but it's probably my favorite side of any Kiss album ever.
yeah.
And I will go on record saying that, and now I'm documented on video saying it, so.
You're in trouble now.
Yeah, you start off with.
You're gonna get an email from Ace tomorrow. probably.
I hope I do.
So there's been all sorts of talk about who's playing what, and drumming and everything. Like on Larger Than Life, is that Peter? I think it's Peter, of course. We talked about this in an earlier episode. I think it's
He's
Peter.
changing my mind. I think it very easily could
I
be.
think it feels like him. I think it's the room sound that's really changing the vibe of it, But in the guitar solos, there's a lot of Bob Kulick on here.
Bob Kulick's on the first 3 songs on side 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So All American Man was actually written by Paul and Sean Delaney. And according to Sean Delaney, another guy named Richard Bear. Also,
We didn't really get credit for it, I guess.
No, he's also a singer-songwriter guy. Yeah, he didn't get credit, but apparently those 3 were together in Paul's apartment. Paul picked up a guitar, started playing the riff. The rest took care of itself. But yeah, All American Man is one of those just...
Such a killer tune.
Oh, God.
And those guitar solos, so cool.
It's such a Paul riff. Like, I wouldn't even have to know, and I would know, yeah, Paul came up with that riff.
And it's so cool the way, the riff comes in, the solo comes in, leads to the first verse.
Yeah.
Which is not always common with Kiss songs. A big guitar solo begins the, it's really cool.
Yeah, excellent song, and lyrically it's right in Paul's wheelhouse. He's bragging, really.
And
so,
Paul
yeah.
has said, Bob has said he got paid well, and they were friends, and he just kind of kept it a secret for years.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder why it did eventually come out.
Well, they just all eventually, the information just eventually came out. I think they all kind of.
I think it was around late 80s, early 90s or something.
Doesn't it say Bob Kulick on in the CD notes for the 97s?
I do not
I can't
know.
remember. Yeah. But it's common knowledge, obviously.
Yeah.
Gradually became common knowledge.
Yeah, so Bob Kulick, for those that don't know, auditioned to be in Kiss in 72. Actually, the same audition Ace was at. Rumor has it, or the legend goes, he auditioned right before Ace. And then Ace kind of stumbled in and interrupted
With 2
Bob
colored
and-
shoes and yeah.
So you know the whole story. His brother was waiting in the car, the whole thing. But they liked Bob, obviously.
Bruce was in the car?
Did
I never heard that.
No, Ace's brother
Oh,
drove
Ace.
him,
Oh, okay, yeah.
from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would
I
have been
think
cool.
I've read that Ace's mom brought him to the.
It could have been his mom.
Yeah.
Could have been his mom. So somebody drove Ace to the rehearsal, the audition. But anyway, so Bob auditioned and they loved him, but he just didn't have the right image. I don't know if he was wearing a wig then or what, but for those that don't know, Bob is bald.
Yeah.
So,
But he has a strong personality too.
yeah. Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
He just,
Maybe they might have wanted somebody kind of workable.
it's just weird how they were nothing, but they were so focused on their image.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't think Bob's image was right. He ended up being a Meatloaf and some other things. Yeah. So this would have been his first appearance on a Kiss album. He later played on Paul's solo album and did some stuff on Killers. So yeah, he's been around. He was kind of like in the shadows. Paul would call him up, "Hey, we need you." You know,
Yeah.
Ace isn't up to it right now.
Because I don't know if we mentioned this, but Bob ruled. Oh my gosh, he had a Jimmy Page thing, but like he was just like at a perfect tone, and Bob Kulick was amazing.
Yeah, and again, for those that don't know, Bob's little brother Bruce ended up being in the band. Bob kept telling Kiss was going through some lead guitar issues in the '80s, to say the least, and Bob kept telling him, "You got to use my brother Bruce," and they ended up doing that, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Bob's incredible, and his solos on the All American Man. I mean, there's a reason. One of the reasons why this is my favorite side of any Kiss album. Like those guitar solos are furious. They're amazing. Nothing against Ace. Oh my God, because Ace makes up for it in the one song.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what's up next? Patriotic Gene.
Yeah, totally. Rockin' the USA. Lyrics, it's a little bit, the lyric, I mean, I love the song. The lyrics are a little extra
They're
fun.
cheesy.
They're a little extra
Yeah,
fun.
it's kind of like a road diary. He's
I
talking
think
about
we've
where
all
they've
heard-
toured, France, Denmark,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
We've all heard Paul doesn't like it. And
Yeah.
it's probably purely lyrically
Yeah.
driven, his dislike for the song.
Yeah.
But it's a fun song, of course. As a kid, with, you know, if you're looking like this, you're attracting a lot of kids at this point. I was a kid, even though it was 84. I thought it was awesome. You know, I thought he was telling me a story of his tour stories.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
but
it's rare to hear Gene sing a song that's not about girls or sex.
yeah.
And let's keep in mind that a year before this album came out, America was celebrating the bicentennial. So, you know, loving America and all that was huge.
That's true.
And they were jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
But I don't. He probably not for that reason. But America was a big deal at the time. Well, it still is, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, rocking the USA. I mean, the Beatles had Back in the USSR. Why can't Kiss have Rockin' in the USA?
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, Gene, you wanted to be heavy metal Beatles,
There you go.
which they basically did.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the song.
That takes us into probably my favorite song on this side.
Oh yeah,
Larger Than
I
Life.
would agree with that.
That pocket, that groove, those guitar solos.
Yeah. Both this and the previous song are written solely by Gene. But Gene plays rhythm guitar, so that's him that starts off that riff in the beginning. And these lyrics are total Gene.
Yeah.
And oh God, Bob Kulick's guitar playing.
So good. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And Peter's drums.
I think-
I said Peter's drums.
Yeah, see, it's Peter. His drumming on side 4 is great too. I mean, they were really on a roll. It's too bad that this is pretty much the very end of that original run with the quartet.
It
You know,
really is.
3 albums, live album, 3 albums, live album, and that was pretty much bookends
Yeah,
right there.
it was kind of unfortunately all downhill from here as far as the way they got along.
Of course, they're doing so much stuff.
In other words, between Love Gun and 4 solo albums and Double Platinum, Kiss released, if my math is correct, 7 albums in a year and a half.
Yeah.
7! Now, 4 of those were solo albums, Alive 2, Love Gun, and Double Platinum. You know, and Alive 2 and Double Platinum are double albums, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot of music. That's saturation right there.
So, yeah, overly saturated.
but hey, bring it on. Bring it on.
At the time, but did they burn out the audience at the time? I mean,
They didn't burn me out. I was just getting more excited.
yeah, totally. But yeah,
But you can make a case, though, that happened because by the time Dynasty came out on that tour, tickets went on sale. It just wasn't selling as good. You know, things started to go downhill. That's why I said this was them at their peak, and there was only one way to go from here. Now, with that said, you know, you've heard our Dynasty review. We love Unmasked. We love The Elder. They still made amazing music. It was just different. Okay?
Yeah.
Obviously, the original chemistry was gone. I mean, Peter wasn't even on the next two albums, so... Yeah, things
But
changed.
that's why Peter's so great on Live and Alive too, though. You know, he played those songs in the albums, played them on the tours, and when you're playing these songs night after night, you know, you get really good. You really get those tunes. You get every little nuance under your belt, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why he sounds so great on Live too.
Yeah, and even if some stuff was recorded, you know, it was after the tour, so he was still like knowing the songs perfectly.
Yeah.
And yeah. So nothing but praise. Again, Larger Than Life. You know, it's our. I think it was in your top 20 of all Kiss songs, right?
Larger Than Life?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was way towards the top.
Yeah,
too.
me
I
too.
love
Me
Larger
as
Than
well.
Life,
I believe All American Man was in mine too.
Yeah.
So what do we got up next?
Rocket Ride is killer.
Yeah. So Ace got a new flanger and he's not afraid to use it.
And he's not afraid to use
No,
it.
no.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So Rocket Ride, apparently Ace had it kind of tucked aside for maybe a possible solo album. But no, he pulled it out and they used it on. They probably wanted to give him another song.
And he played bass on it, I think, right?
Yes, he played bass, guitar.
And it's a lot of doubling guitar, really.
Oh yeah.
Which is great on that for those riffs.
There's guitars all over the place on Rocket Ride. Ace wrote it with Sean Delaney, the same guy who co-wrote All American Man with Paul. So that's kind of you don't see that co-write too often. Frehley, Delaney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Sean Delaney, by the way, for those who don't know, was like the fifth Kiss. He was he helped him out from the very beginning. He was kind of Bill O'Coin's right-hand man. He was a musician himself, but he helped do all the choreography, that stuff you see in the shows. So much comes from him, and they'll give him credit for it. But he has since passed away, but you can't underestimate what he brought to the band. Him and Bill O'Coin, really. I would say those four members of the band and those two guys, and Neil Bogart too. Those seven guys.
Yeah,
It's like that's the nucleus right there. Okay, you can get into Glickman, Marx, and all that, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Rocket Ride. Yeah, it's no stranger to Ace's live set these days. He doesn't shy away from it. In fact, I think he plays it every show. It's amazing. It became a single on this album. They decided to release a second single, and it did better than the first single. So it made it to number 36.
Rocket Ride's great, and it's so simple, but Ace is not afraid to be simple. You like Cold Gin. Does it get any simpler than Cold Gin? No, I don't think it possible. You know, and you da 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 da. You know, and then you got dun 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 dun. You just got this slow climb up. Dun, dun, dun,
that's all it is.
Modulates, keep climbing up.
Yeah.
It's just so cool that he would do that. You know?
Yeah. And leave it to him to, marry space travel and sex together
rockets
for
and
a beautiful
man
metaphor.
Yeah, for rockets and real rockets and space rockets and man rockets.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and it just fits with his old image and theme.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, great song. So next this is very interesting. If you think about the covers Kiss did on record, Kissing Time, Then She Kissed Me, and Any Way You Want It, all like early 60s.
Yeah. Stuff they grew up on.
Yeah. You would, they're not doing like Humble Pie, 4-Day Creep or something.
That stuff they were influenced by for their modern day direction, but in their hearts, what they grew up on.
Yeah. So Any Way You Want It was by the Dave Clark 5, and I don't know about you, but when I had the album, I would, you always look at the actual vinyl, and you look on there, like, who wrote the songs? And it said D. Clark. I always thought Dick Clark wrote it.
You thought Dick Clark? I think I might have thought
who
that
else
too.
D. Clark.
When I was a kid, because I didn't know about all those groups yet.
Yeah.
But Anyway You Want It, it's great, it's fun, it's a great chant. I love the delay on the vocals, which are very much like the delay on the original.
And the echo.
Yeah, that delay echo.
Yeah.
There was talk about them doing Jailhouse Rock, and then some people have corrected that, and Paul said, no, we weren't talking about that. But Gene and some other interviewers said
I think Gene just had the idea and he's kind of getting mixed up.
That would have been cool if they did it like Jeff Beck Group, maybe.
Well, the
like
thing
halftime
is,
like that.
while they were like a week before they actually recorded this album, Elvis died.
Yeah.
So I guess they didn't want to seem like they were jumping on the bandwagon, maybe. Kind of like, Elvis died, here's one of his songs. So,
Yeah.
but anyway you want, it's good, it's fun. I love hearing Gene and Paul sing like that. It kind of reminds me, you know, that scene from Exposed where they're singing Beatles songs together.
Yeah, totally.
It reminds me of that.
If you're down, down, down.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah.
But it's just fun. I think it's Paul pretty much playing all the guitars, and it's simple. It probably didn't take long to record. If it did, it was getting those vocals right. But yeah, it's just if this was a regular 10-song Kiss studio album, I probably wouldn't really think it fit on it. But being at the tail end of such a, you know,
it's perfect.
monstrous,
I think it's got a perfect, run out cut vamp feel to it. You know.
Yeah, kind of like I do like Then She Kissed Me ending the Love Gun. I think it fits just perfect.
Heck yeah. I think it's great. I think it's so fun. You know.
Same kind of thing here.
I think that it's really cool that Kiss was trying to keep it fun. I mean, it's amazing that they had religious people following them around trying to boycott concerts and stuff. And they're singing about come on, grab a hold of my rocket. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, meet you in the ladies' room. Obviously, these are, wow, this is some demonic shit. I mean, what were people thinking?
Well, you know what? They were looking at that photo, that's why.
Yeah. But it's just I just love the way the Kiss kept it so tongue-in-cheek and kept it light. But it's almost like a TV show that's like a drama comedy, a dramedy. You know what I mean? It's got these different nuances that brings it together. A fullness in it. I love that they got the drama, and then but they got songs about love guns.
All right, but then they have their soft romantic side too with Beth.
Yeah.
So something for the housewives as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kiss Alive 2. 2 thumbs up from these guys. And Peter?
It's a powerful album, man. It's a powerful album.
Yeah, I'm glad we decided to do this because it really made me delve even deeper into it. Because this 45 years it's been around. Celebrating its anniversary this year.
Wow.
45 years.
That's right. They put some stuff on the the Kiss website. So it's kind of cool too.
Yeah, a lot of new Alive 2 merchandise is out there. Oh my God, if you haven't heard this album, if you're one of those people, listen to this. Consider it almost like a greatest hits, and with 5 new songs tagged on the end. Well, 5 new songs at that time. It's like a bonus. It's like great live album. Oh, here's 5 brand new studio songs.
It's ridiculous. The 3-side studio and then
and the
the
packaging
1-side
and
studio. And the 3-sides live with the 1-side studio with the packaging and
this was probably
the
$8.99
booklet
back in the day.
and this album is just nuts. I mean, it's just it's pretty amazing.
And don't forget to put on your temporary tattoos and show your friends.
and show your friends.
And look at the Evolution of Kiss booklet inside.
You got to study the costume.
This album is just one fun night.
Yeah.
It really is. Put on your tattoos.
Totally,
Dim your lights.
Yeah.
Put this on. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, Kiss Alive 2.
Indeed.
All right. We'll see you next time. I'm Jason Flom. This is Peter Tijan. This has been the Music of Kiss podcast.